Hi everybody, Doug Hippie from EAC Product Development Solutions here with another tip of the week. When you typically start a new model and you go in to do that first sketch, oftentimes what occurs is it goes into what you might think is a metric mode. It's really not metric mode, but it has the values defaulted very large. In other words, as I create this rectangle here, and I'm going to intentionally put the rectangle right on top of my datum planes, you'll notice that the values of that rectangle are in the 500 area. That's typically not what an average inch user is going to want for a size. They'll probably go into, like 5 inches or what have you. Of course, I can go in and highlight all the dimensions that I'd like to make a change to, and then go in and pick the checkbox so that it scales all my dimensions at one time when I change the value of that dimension. But let's take a look at how I can set up a start part for it as a template so that I don't have that situation. So in other words, here I've got a value of 500. I'm actually going to just quickly change one side to 5 and this other one to 10 just to kind of emphasize what goes on here. When I say OK, you're going to notice that the height value is still in the stratosphere. In other words, it's at about 200. And my real intention in this case was to have it at a value of 3, something that's more realistic for us people that live in the inch world. So I'm going to get out of that, and I'm going to show you a little trick so that you can make it so that every time you open up, and you're going to have to create this as a start template, but every time you start your file, it's going to go into a more reasonable value. So the secret behind that, if you want to call it a secret, but the effort is to create a sketch on a plane, doesn't matter which plane it's at, and just create a very simple circle. Take that circle and change the value of that circle to something that's more realistic, like a value of 10 for 10 inches, or a value of 5 if you've got smaller parts. Change it to that value. Now, there's a couple things that you can do here so that you understand that this circle isn't intended for modeling or anything. I can go in and change the font style so that it's a little bit different, and maybe even change the color of that geometry or that data so that it's even a different color. Of course, also what I can do is I can hide that feature, and then of course I'm going to need to go in and save the status view and select save status in that so that that sketch is no longer there for me. Another option is I can put that sketch on a layer. So layering in Creo Parametric is still the same as what you're used to in the past. Go through the model tree, create a layer that you'd like to have, and put that on the layer. Now, once I've done that and I have that sketch there, when I go in to create a new part or a new profile, I can go in here and I'm just going to do my corner rectangle again. And the other thing is if you're used to having center lines, put those center lines in your template also. But in this case here, I'm just going to create a quick corner rectangle. I'm going to use those center lines. The value of the center lines is now I snap to symmetry during the process. Now you see these values are a little bit more realistic and closer to what I was expecting when I first started my original sketch. You're also going to see that the height or the width or thickness of this block is more realistic to what I wanted to do at the beginning of my sketch. Okay? And that only works for the first feature, because once you've got a feature established, your graphics within Creo Parametric are going to scale down accordingly and then give you representative values from that point forward. It's always that first feature that you create in that first sketch that personally drives me bonkers, that I get these stratospheric values that I need to make a major edit to in order to commence and move forward with my modeling. Now, once you've got that done, save that to your start template. So let me show you an example here now. I'm just going to get rid of everything, erase what's not displayed. Now I'm going to start my new model. I'm going to start it as a part, and by rights you should set it as your default template in your config.pro so that it automatically picks this up. If you don't know how to do that, give your account manager a call, let them know that you'd like to have some help with that, and we'll get online with you to show you how to do that. In this case here, I'm going to give it a new name. And we're going to open up a part. And I'm going to scroll to my template. In this case here, I named it Start Size. Whatever you have for a naming convention to be able to distinguish this from other templates or other start models, you're going to want to do that. Now, when I go in and create my first extrude, again, I've already got that sketch. It's hidden in there. When I come in here and again create my construction center line so that my rectangle will have symmetry. Okay, now I'm back to reality. So in my start part, I set that diameter at a value of 10. So now I have things a little bit closer to the values that I want to have represented. As well as when I go in for my extrusion, you'll notice that the height or the width of the extrusion is back to reality also. So if you need more information relative to this isn't the only way that you can do it, but for me, from a user's perspective, it's the quickest and simplest way, and take advantage and leverage those start templates that you have. If you'd like more information, reach out to your friendly EAC account manager, let them know you saw one of Doug's Tips of the Week videos, and you'd like to have some help getting that set up so that you too don't have to have the same annoyance that I experienced when you first start up your very first sketch within a new model. This is Doug Hippie from EAC Product Development Solutions with another tip of the week. Make sure to have yourself a great week. Thank you.